a financial, what were we approved as? A financial management program by the Minnesota Department of Agriculture. So has anyone heard of the Beginning Farmer Tax Credit? Yeah, so a few of you have heard. There's a new, in 2017, this sheet gives you a little bit of background. There was a new law that was signed into place that was meant to support beginning farmers, and it's called the Beginning Farmer Tax Credit. And it incentivizes landowners to rent or sell their land to beginning farmers. And they define what a beginning farmer is in this top paragraph. So they have some really specific wording around who is a beginning farmer and who's not. So I can help people figure out if they qualify as a beginning farmer. But basically, landowners can get an incentive, like a credit back, if they rent or sell their land to beginning farmers. And so this is something to make it more attractive, I guess, to rent and sell land to beginning farmers. And so if you're going to rent or buy land, or if you are renting or buying land, you can talk to your landlord or the seller about this. Like, this applies for you, Finley, for sure. Talk to them and see if they would be interested in applying for this. And also, beginning farmers can get a credit for enrolling in a program like ours. So the $250 of the training program fee, the education part of our fee, you can get a credit for on your tax return. So basically, you would get a $250 credit on your tax return. And I'm still learning about this, so I apologize if I'm not being more clear, but if people have questions about that, I did attach the general description of the Beginning Farmer Tax Credit is the first page, and then the second page is the application. So they want to encourage people to apply, and that's two-sided. So it's a really short application, and it's a first come, first serve type of a program. So they want everyone to apply by October 1st, but you can also apply earlier. If you're in your first year, I don't think that you would be able to apply because you have to have some experience. So like you'll see on this front page, it says has adequate experience in the type of farming. But if you have experience, it would be worth it to apply for that credit. So whether you're working with your landlord or with someone who's selling you a farm, to get them, to incentivize them to rent or sell to you, or whether you're just trying to get a credit back for the fee that you're paying for the program, I think it's worthwhile for people to look into. And for shared plot farmers, I think this is a good thing probably for next year. I don't think that it's gonna make sense for you to do this year, but for next year and any other future years. Hopefully save people a little bit of money. Do people have questions on this? I want to mention too that I laid out in the beginning of the year the assignments and deadlines page, and we can be flexible on deadlines, but in order for me to sign or in order for you to say that you've done the program, it would be great if everyone can work on doing those assignments. So they're pretty basic and mostly things that you do anyway, but that's kind of going to be my requirement for saying yes, you completed the program, so that we're being accountable too for the MDA. Any questions on this? Okay, great. Well, let me know if you have questions, but I encourage returning farmers or people that are coming to the program with some experience to apply, so you can save some money. All right, and then my next announcement is also for farmers that are selling independently. So in this room, Waku, May, Kristen, that's everybody I think in here so far. I know Finley, you already have insurance, but I just wanted to let people know that the Minnesota Farmers Market Association has some decent priced insurance, and we are we're requiring all of the people that are selling to their own independent markets to get some sort of liability insurance for your products. So while you're on the farm, if something happens, our insurance should cover, it's like if someone has an accident or something like that. But if you're selling to markets, our insurance, if you're not selling under Big River Farms, our insurance wouldn't cover you. So you three can let me know if you have questions about that. Okay. I'm going to skip a couple of announcements because I have too many, and I'll follow up with people. Go ahead, May.
Guys, have I insurance cover the crop, right?
So not crop insurance, but like have like a liability insurance, like for like that, like the Good Acre would ask you for a copy of your insurance, that kind of insurance. Yeah. Yeah.
Or for like illnesses.
For, yeah. And I don't think either, I guess the only other thing is that if you miss the greenhouse and farm safety day, make sure to follow up with Molly and May to make that up. So that's just a requirement to make sure everyone knows the systems at the farm and everyone stays safe. And if you haven't yet, please try to schedule that. And I'm going to stop. I'll follow up with individuals about my other things. So tonight, if anyone did not get baklava, help yourself. It's kind of celebration. This was supposed to be the last winter class that takes place at the Good Acre, but it's the second to last, but we're still going to celebrate anyway with some treats. So help yourselves with some treats in the back. And tonight, it's a pretty relaxed class, and everyone is invited to present a little bit about their farm plan for this year. So I know I got a few presentations emailed to me, but other people, if you want to even just stand up here and talk for a few minutes, that's fine too, if you didn't prepare anything, and share with the team. Farmers have asked for opportunities to learn from each other and share what they know, and so I thought this would be a nice way to kind of connect people and learn a little bit about what the other people in the program are doing. So, Faro's gonna go first.
So I'm here representing Shared Plot second year. Myself, Kibo, Jacob, and then Jeremy in the back. And he presented another plan. We're equal partners, so we're in theory going to share the work equally. Do I just? Okay, so this is our plot. I saw when we were at the farm, I think it's like 1/3 of an acre. We're gonna do 10 varieties of vegetables and fruits. Spinach, corn, 2 types of greens, broccoli, carrots, delicata squash, watermelon, cantaloupe, and cucumbers. And then we're gonna be trying flowers this year, sunflowers and zinnia. I believe we contracted CSA for spinach, corn, broccoli, and carrots, I believe. So that's one of our markets, the MFA CSA. We also want to sell at Kingfield, and we're thinking about doing kind of like a, not the whole summer at Richfield Farmers Market, but just doing a daily rate. But we're still thinking about that. Last year, this shared plot made $4,768. And we hope to make about that much, and then with our flowers, we hope to add another $1,300 possibly. If we sell them $8 to $10 a bunch, if we get them to come up and get enough. We'll see. I don't know. It's an experiment. We have no idea what's going to happen. Expenses. Of course, we have Big River Farm fees, auto expenses like gas. We're going to pay a daily rate for the farmers market if we go. We have to buy some supplies, like flower buckets and packing supplies, but we'll be using mostly Big River supplies. Profits, probably not much if you tie in, but we don't have exact numbers yet. We're still figuring that out. That's it. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Is anybody have questions?
Oh, yes.
What are you most excited to try?
The flowers will be new. And we're gonna try to be more independent. Of course, we're gonna use May, but we're just gonna try to see if we can remember what we learned from last year and apply it to this year. So that's gonna be kind of exciting to see. Last year, I think we were very inefficient just because we were new. So hopefully, we can be more efficient and won't be so much work. So I'm excited to see the workload. Hopefully, it won't be too much. Yes.
So did the four of you work together last year?
Jeremy's new. It was the three of us, Hebo, Jacob, and I worked together with another guy named Yusuf.
Have you made any intentional changes to how you're managing the workload or doing the work?
I think we did pretty good last year. We all met, on the same days and worked together. So that worked out well as long as we were together working.
You said you guys were somewhat not as efficient as you liked. So
Yeah.
what would you say were the elements that you thought you weren't efficient?
It was just like I've told people. I don't know. I've talked to a lot of people. It's just like how you use your body. Like it's just different. As you learn how to work the land, you just become more efficient. There was just one really we seeded or we planted Napa cabbage, and it took us 2 days to do 2 rows. And then at the end, it took us 4 hours. So we just became more efficient as we learned more. So I'm hoping that we can just build on that for this year. Because a third of a acre, for 4 people, it hopefully won't be too much work.
Yeah, I asked you just to learn what you learn from.
It's just as you learn, as you learn more and you get more experience, you work
It's a
differently.
learning curve always.
Yep.
Different things.
Yeah, you'll see it. Any other questions? Yes.
About the flowers, I'm just curious if, do you think that you'll kind of stake and have to corral them, or?
From what I've read, it's all about spacing. So zinnias and sunflowers are supposedly easy to grow as long as you space them close together. So I think we're doing there's 6 by 6 or 9 by 9. So it's 6 rows 6 inches apart, or 9 rows 9 inches apart. I can't remember which one it is. But as long as you do it close together, you should not have to stake. So we'll see.
Are you direct seeding those?
We are direct seeding, yes. That's also, you could do either or, I think, but I think it's a little too much work for us to transplant thousands of little plants. We're gonna do seeds. Yes.
What colors items is that sunflower?
So I've been to a couple of conferences this year, and everyone says the crazier the colors, the better. So we got a mix of colors, like a seeding pack that has all the colors, and we'll just bunch them all together and make a bouquet. There's bouquets have different elements, so they have stakes, they have round, they have foliage, and we're not ready to do a whole bouquet, so we're just gonna usually bunch 10 stems, so we'll just bunch 10 stems together and sell them for 8 to 10. That's the plan. Any other questions? Thank you.
Welcome, you want to go next?
Sure.
Did you email it to me? Is it okay if you do the arrows? I don't have
Okay,
anywhere.
that's fine. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm going to present about my farming plan or farming business plan. So my business name as officially, I just reached the real estate as Natural City and Green Farm. And I have a tag under here, eating healthy, green, and live longer. So that's my tag will go into my branding in the future. So, and I do have a farm mission, a vision as well. As you can see, our mission is to improve people's health and to preserves natural resources by growing vegetable organically while reducing the impact of surrounding environment. And my vision or our vision is being healthy is very important to us. We can visualize the improvements of people's health by providing them with quality organically grown vegetable at an affordable price. So it's longish vision and vision. And this is my business management because I would like to plan for a long term as well. So that's why I come with the core values, the business management. Come with the core values including customer first, quality produce, and lifelong relationship because we want to go along, develop a business that lasts long. And I also do have business operation principles, have standardized about if I growing bigger, what I can do to better be a good employer for them. So that's why I have the business operation principle as safety first and be more efficiency, cost effective, and preserving environment, retaining customers' values is based on what customer needs. And if I have money, I will give to charity. So. And business platform is a long-term planning as well. So I do have goals about how many years I want to move my scale up. And I do have 3 tiers. I don't have enough space, but I can share with you about what do I have. The first one is to operate to be a vegetable producer under 5 acres and become independently organic certified by 2020. So that's my goal. And second tier is to operate my business to be extended to local business or institutions such as school, hotel, hospital, CSA, or food hubs. And my third tier, let me see here. Okay, so just say our third tier of operation is to be leading vegetable producer for the Upper Midwest. That's being goal. It's 10 years from now. So and by 2030. So that's my projected. Okay. And now lead to financial management, just about learning how to be budgeting. What is your budget for a particular growing years? And I do keep record keeping, so keep all record, including the sales, the operational costs, and expense about what I get, what I pay for, and also revenue projection, and based on previous years or based on last year what I did. So. And there's crops or field management. So whenever you want to do a larger scale, you have to think about how much time do you have. Determine how much time do you have and to work on the farm. And do not just think about, oh, I would like to grow this much. Maybe it will be overwhelming when going through the growing season. And also consider who will help you at the farm. How many people you can count on to assist you at the farm. So this year, I still thinking about not just myself, but if my wife and only work part-time, we may have more time. My kids, 3 teenagers, on summer break, they may be able to help me. So that's why I upscale from a quarter into 1 acre this year. And also determine crop types as well. You have to know about what type of crops, because some crops may require more attention, more care, and some may require less time to taking care. And when you plan, just think about what kind of crop you are going to grow, because if you grow some crop that require more attentions, and maybe use a lot of your time just prunings or weedings, and it'll be a lot of time using, and you can make it. So look into innovation ways to do farming, such as ranging technology or a tool that can help you. So last year I used water timer to help me do the drip tape, and I was thinking about maybe fire friend weeders, how to manage weeds and cultivator, or go with half of my field could be the landscape fabrics, mulch or plastic mulch, and only leave the high rotation crop, or in half of my, or quarter of my, no, half of my acre have to be cover with mulch, and the other high rotation just leave open. So marketing is, no matter what you do, if you don't have market, then forget it, because you will not have money, the liquid money go around and help you manage your farm. So marketing is very important. You have to know your customer who will buy your produce, and don't go into the catalog and go wherever you like, but look into about what kind of customer you will sell your produce to. And what I have is general customer, restaurant, wholesale, CSA, grocery store, and other form of market. And as I mentioned, knowing your market demand crops and only grow what they want going to buy. Last year, I do have the tomatoes, all of my Ami's past tomato. I couldn't sell that much. I only give to the adult daycare people and give to my relative. And this year, I only focus on what I can sell. Also, pricing your produce, knowing your cost of producing is about how much you put into investment, and what's the competitive price, and how you add value to your crop. Just mean don't go too low, maybe don't go too high, but if you know your market and you just pricings at the right price, then it should not be a problem about it. And the D is marketing, how you market or advertise. So I do Facebooks, and I just learned how to do Instagram a couple weeks ago. And I found Christine's on Instagram, and I wondered about who are you? So finally I found it just like yeah, then sometimes at the event, any particular events, community events, and just talk with other friends and just share information, and later on just tell them about you are also doing farming, organic farming, and they are interested. They will say, okay, whenever your produce is available, and let me know, I will help you. Okay, there's some tips that what I learned from last year. So I would say keep learning, keep continuing training, and attend seminar, workshops, and attend conferences, because you will get information, you will learn more techniques, you will hear a successful story, how they manage their business. And start with small, don't go too large. Do what I do, I just start with small and slowly work incrementally. And learning sales skill is the most important, because if you have stuff you don't know how to sell, you will not make money. And knowing your main cash crops, just knowing about what kind of crop that bring you the most money, and you have to know about how many percentage from a particular crop that make a large chunk of revenue. You have to know about, okay, who is your main customer that buy a lot, and what type of produce they'll buy regularly. And knowing about who is your main customer, what is your main crops, then that will help you manage about how much you need to plant a particular crops. So that's why I have here is looking for what type of crop is your high value crops, and crop sale projection, how much you are going to sell in the particular season. And for what I have from last year, 50% is from the Asian grain, the mustard grain, the flowering breaststar variety, and the Chinese kale. So that's, I would say maybe 50%, probably 50% from that one. This is just an example. I just throw examples about maybe some kind of crops as salad mix, 20 cucumber. You just know about percentage from each crop and contributing to the whole revenue that you receive. And this knowing about who pay you the most, who buy you the most produce, and you just use that number to help you grow the crop that meet their needs. And consider all factors when growing a particular crops. As I mentioned earlier, some crops require more attention, more inputs, more investments of your time. And only go with something that you can do or is easier to manage. So that's what I would recommend. And see for tools, or this is just about the factor that when you're growing some crop, you have to know maybe time, maybe use special tool or equipment to help. And post-harvest is a lot of time to wash the produce or to pick up, and that could be time consuming as well. And the market is the crop is market demand or not. We take all this into consideration when you're growing a particular crop. And that is pretty much. So, any questions? Yes, Laura.
What investments are you making in your farm this year? I know that you're talking about efficiency and tools and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
For this year, I would like to have small tellers, and because only go into the 30-inch bed, and once I do high rotation, I need some more tellers, and I don't have to rely on the tractor because tractors being tires, and that's my next investment. And I also would like to buy a backpack, the power backpack sprayer as well, because it'll be more efficient when you just go and if you apply fish liquid fertilizer or the EN5, and you have to just to push every time. That's not efficiency. And that's two investment I would like to invest this year. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, yes, Albert.
I like the name of your farm. I was just curious why you decided on that name.
Oh, good question. This is simple as Twin City. I live in the Twin City, right? Green because I want to be sustainable farming techniques or practices. So that's why everything you have to consider is about what is the maximize impact the environment. So that's green. So that's why I choose green, and that's why I come up with the name. And Twin City is in the Twin City. Green means you don't do anything that will impact the environment. So.
It's a really good name.
Yeah. Anything else? Otherwise, thank you very much.
Who wants to go next?
Volunteer? Kristen?
Yeah.
You have a poster, right?
I have a couple.
So I'm going to. I'll turn the mic on.
I guess I'll hold it. I know, I didn't really think about a stand for
You can
them.
also pass them around, like, after you explain them. So-
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, hello. I'm Kristen, also known as Tutti Fruities. That's my farm. It's a nickname my dad gave me when I was little, and so when I started designing edible gardens for people, I was like, oh, what do I want to do? Tutti Frutti, that's me. Okay, so I went by like just the bullet points of what we're supposed to do. So we'll start with finances. So the income, what I figured out based on what I'm planting, and I found in the Johnny Seeds catalog to be very helpful with how much 100-foot row, and then but we're 140. Anyways, doing some calculations, dividing that yield that they projected by half, and then I multiplied that by whatever number I was projecting what I would sell that crop for. So I came up with, that's how I came up with how much my income would be. And then the expenses, I always kind of try and do it higher than what I actually think it will be so that I don't have any surprises. And then also, you know, extra, I'm gonna have something come up probably, so I always add that in there at the bottom as well. So I come out with a profit, who knows what it will be, but I come out to be 5,500, and I say aim high, but be realistic because things do come up, and my math could be off somewhere, or may not sell as much as I thought I would, or some yield be a bit different, but remain optimistic. So. And I did them like this too, so I can post them up in my house and like remember. So I was like, oh, it's kind of like a vision board. So for the marketing, I'm selling at Nokomis Farmers Market and also Fulton. So Wednesday nights and Saturday mornings. So, oops, the classes, that's when the classes are. And then, just open to possibilities. So I'm like, okay, universe, if there's something else that comes up, I want to remain open to that. So I'm not saying no to any future possibilities. Let's see. So the seconds, I've had ideas of packaging those and having those laid out separate for people, and combining different vegetables at a lower cost, so that's more attractive. You don't have to buy a huge set of something, and also market it too as, oh hey, this is a juice that you could make already preset for you, because people like things that they don't have to think about. It's already done for them. I've decided that I'm not going to use any plastic whatsoever at the farmer's market or at the farm. Working with conservation of sea turtles in February, and learning that that's the #1 reason that the sea turtles are declining, and all of them are, the leatherback sea turtle could go extinct within 5 years because of our pollution of plastics. And so I've been like, no, think of the sea turtles. I have that written down. So what I thought about what I want to grow. So crops that people like, crops that I like to grow, crops with high yields, crops that store well, crops with good cost value, and what I can sell by the pound. Marketing also on Facebook, a website, which Eric's helping me with, and Instagram, and maybe some YouTube videos, who knows. We'll see about that. If I got time. Production, I got a list of everything that I'm growing. This year is total experiment year. I want to be like, okay, well I really like this and I like that, but also it's kind of experiment wise of, okay, what is something that I can manage? What is going to be the crop? And I'm gonna, pick from this long list. Then next year I can narrow that down and know more succinctly what crops were successful in not only yield, but cost value and time management. So then I got what kind of irrigation, using trellis, what kind of weed control, pest control, and harvest. So I say down here, I'm like, oh, I hope my friends and family are gonna help me a little bit. I also have that down here. That'll be like, I feel like this may be me out there will be like yelling. I'm like, hello, can someone help me out here? And so management, that will be a lot of time management. I feel like I'll be going to the farm a lot, but I've already made up my mind that, that's just what it'll take. So whatever it's gonna take, that's what I gotta do. And so let's see. And I just wrote up here kind of years that I've been in organic farming, growing food, and having a startup business myself. I've learned business practices and also working for a startup business, and learning from that fall of that startup business what kind of not to do when I'm starting out. So try and have less input as I can financially to make a profit. That was the biggest thing that I learned from that. So. That's it. Any questions?
How long have you been farming?
This will be my first year selling produce. Yes. So, I've worked on an organic farm before, and I've helped design edible gardens for people. And then I've been growing food, but not for sale. Yes.
Will your edible garden business be put on pause, or will you continue to do that?
I will not be designing gardens for people, although I have been approached this year already, and I've told people that, you know, I can lead them to websites that were helpful for me, but I wouldn't be doing any one-on-one consultations. Yeah.
I love the idea of selling seconds. I just am curious if you've had experience, or you said you've not sold anything yet as far as produce. Have you seen that done as far as grouping seconds, or just where a market for that might be?
I've seen seconds being sold
Okay.
in a big bundle.
Okay.
So I'm like, I know that I'll have seconds from a variety of different things. Why not put that together? And maybe that will be more marketable because people are like, oh, it's a lower cost, and I can get some cucumbers and beets and carrots all in one thing. Sure.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm curious about your no plastic thing. Like, when are you gonna start your plants in?
When am I gonna start my plants in?
Yeah, if you're not using plastic.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can use recyclable material.
Okay. What are you staying away from that? Like plastic bags and stuff?
Well, I said on there I can reuse plastic, just not buy any new plastic.
Okay.
And I did have on there that if I had a plastic bag at a farmer's market, it would be one that I had already used.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
Who wants to go next? Bubby? Do you have your talk, or you have a presentation? Yeah. Oh, you do?
It's not a PowerPoint. It's just some spreadsheets.
That's okay. Yeah. I'll let you pull up whatever ones you want. I'll let you pull it up then. Sorry.
Okay. Should I start or? Should I start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you open it?
Oh yeah. I'll open it.
Okay, sometimes my display
Okay.
is weird.
Okay. That's fine.
You have to like drag it.
Okay.
If you like, here, I can like bring it over. You have to like put it over here,
Oh.
and then you have to kind of work. It's awkward. You have to like work from there.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. This year, I am doing really. My farm name is called Awaken Moon Farm. But this year, I'm doing a little bit different from previous year. I usually plant over 20 different crops, but this year I'm dropping down to only 3. I want to get more into wholesale, not farmers market. So I'm just focused on 3 different crops. But I have about 10 different varieties, but 3 crops. Here's my here's how I'm gonna plant my field. I got carrots here. And you can see here I got 3 different carrots I'm planting. I'm planting Napoli's, Rainbow, and Bolero. And Bolero is the storage crop that I'll be planting on July 12th. And the other carrots are planted during probably every other week, because they're going to be with to sell for green tops instead of being just a root in storage. Same thing with the cabbage. Planting the Ferrero, the Red Express, storage number 4, and Ruby Perfection. And those are for winter crops, for storage crop. So they will be harvested and planted on May 24th, and probably these takes about 90 days, 85 days, and I probably won't even get them until September. And the other ones are 60 days crop, so I'll probably get them around to sell for CSA and a little bit wholesale and store there, here and there, for these Ferrero and Red Express. And then I have beets here. I have 3 different beets. I have the Barrero, which is the red. Chattanooga is the red, white mark, like a bullseye. They look like a bullseye. So those bullseye beets, and the yellow boulder beets, and I will be planting them like every 2 weeks, and then I will have one that I plant for the storage crop, and that is that's how my farming plan would look like for this coming season. So I did a projection on what I did last year and what I'm gonna expect to do this year. These are my sales from last year from the Good Acre, Russ Davis, and restaurants. This is how much I did for farmers market. This is the seeds I bought, transplant, fertilizer, propane for a greenhouse, potting soil, heating mats, the wreck of the greenhouse, the boxes I use. I bought a water pump. I did a maintenance for one of my tractor, my dad's tractor, which is my tractor too, the 140. This is how much land lease I did. Packing shed, I rented the Twin Organics packing shed for $950. My insurance. This is my insurance. This is my general liability insurance for the whole year, $691, and I only did a net of 5. Projecting to do 9 here, hopefully, with the expense here, insurance. The only difference is I will purchase a tractor for 8 here, and I will buy the drip and irrigation rain flow for boxes will be more because it's gonna be more for delivery and for the wholesale. I'm expecting to do more for the farmers market, and I'm expecting to sell to the Goodacre, Russ Davis, and Sureground.
Curious, you have $200 for rent and then you have 3 something.
I'm jumping from 13 to 5 acres. So it's a big scale down, so that the rent should drop down.
Was the rent last year, was it what your parents were on and
Yeah,
where you were
yeah,
at?
it was included.
Okay.
Same thing this year.
Okay.
It's a little bit cheaper this year because we're jumping from a 13-acre scale to a 5-acre scale.
Yeah. Okay. How many acres did you rent last year from organic?
I ran about 3.75.
Okay.
And then I had it 7. I had 10 acres from that one in Lakeville.
Okay.
So 13 acres.
Thank you.
Total acre from last year for
13.75.
13 acre per 75.
Yeah, 75.
Oh, you're really good. Okay.
So last year you were going to farmers markets, and this year.
I am going to farmers market, and I am still going to farmers market. But I didn't put everything up there yet, so the other 2 acres is gonna have other vegetables, so I could still go to farmers market. But I'm focusing more on wholesale, so.
So the tractor expenses, last year you repaired one.
I repaired one. Because I bought the tractor 2 years ago.
And then is it workable to use this year?
It's more. The tractor is a 140, so it's just a cultivator tractor. I'm buying one with a PTO where I could do more tilling and more pulling. May.
How much you make per acre?
I'm not making a lot per large acre scale, so I'm trying to scale down to make more per acre. So.
I like Amber's question from earlier. How did you get the name of your farm?
Okay, Awakened Moon. Fengli means Awakened Moon.
Oh.
Yeah. Fengli means Awakened Moon. So Fengli, so it's Awakened Moon.
What's the significance of that?
I don't know.
That's what it sounds like.
It just sound, it's just more English,
Yeah, I like it.
English. Because Fengli in Hmong means awakened one, so. Yeah.
And then with your crops that you're selling for wholesale, do you already have a market for all of them, or are you still looking?
Sureground said they're gonna buy from me. I'm doing availability sheets for the Goodacre. I think I got some. There's some. Let me see. I think there's some farmers market that wants to do wholesale for them, so I'm putting that as on for them. And I think the one that what's that one? Fair. Yeah, they're buying too. So yeah.
Seems smart how you thought about like different varieties that are like summer varieties and also storage varieties.
Yep.
And all that
Yep.
this year.
Yep. I thought of that. Just at first I was gonna do all storage crop, but Katie said no. Trying to have some half. I'm like, okay, so I did half, so that I would have some for the summer and then some for the winter. Because storage crop, you could sell from September all the way to April, and you put it in the right temperature, they don't rot, and they still are, people still want them, so.
I have enough time to explain the name.
Oh, what name was it?
The Awaken.
Oh, Awaken Moon? Oh, yeah, okay.
And then I said, well, I'm not sure what the meaning was.
My name, Feng Li, means Awaken Moon in my language. Yeah.
Also, congratulations, finally got a grant from
Oh, yes.
Lakewood.
Yes, that Lakewind grant is going toward buying the new tractor.
Yes.
First time writing a grant, so if I could do it, you guys could do it.
Yes, the Lakewood Field Fund is a good opportunity that farmers have gotten in the past for equipment and other things, so if you are interested in it, you can ask me or some of us.
Yep.
Thanks, Tony.
Yep.
Do we want to do a break, or should we just do one more presentation on break? Yeah. Great, okay. Let's do like 5 minutes, so at 6:55 we'll come back and do some more presentations. And in the meantime, don't forget to write up the different farm service providers and agencies that you learned about and met with over the few months that you've been in class for.
I see that as gonna see when you should see.
You know this class.
Yeah.
Did you go to the training?
Yeah.
But did you go to the full day for training? Still. I'm in the day that the rule is for and then if 50% or more of that is from wholesale markets, then it's like required. So I was gonna just give this to you. And I can't say on my day and we can also help our clients, so that's an issue. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it needs to have that training. It's supposed to be like, depending on, I know you always right up the threshold probably. So which day is good, but
I'm also kidding.
whenever you come. Yeah. Which I know you want to get. so you can kind of just use the arrow.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm not
Okay.
pointed.
No, that's okay. Okay. Hello. So I whipped this together really fast. I'm very detail oriented, but I tried to stay very minimal in the amount of details that I would give you, because we could go on for days. But to give you sort of a little bit of background, so in 2015 I started my garden or whatever, so I call it Calf Gardens for just kind of no real meaning other than it was easy to come up with. So I started growing vegetables in 2015. That would be soon after we moved to our home that we're at right now. I started with 2 small plots, and I grew just really basic stuff, like lettuces and some radishes. We had some tomatoes. I grew some really good broccoli, some Brussels sprouts, things like that. And I decided to sell those at the Otana Farmers Market to see, could I sell it? Would people buy them? Would people like my vegetables? What could I do? And I made about $1,000, and I thought that that was pretty neat. In the process of selling at the Otana Farmers Market that summer, so that would have been summer 2017. It's a great market in the sense that it's in a really nice location. It's quaint. It's really good location as far as like lots of customers. But I didn't like the market because there was nobody organizing it, and there was serious food safety issues going on there. So I thought, I can do this better. For anybody who I kind of talked about it a little bit, but I have a background in nutrition. I actually am a dietitian. That's what I do during the day at a small hospital in Faribault. And so I decided, why not start my own farmer's market? And so in my town of Medford, that's where I live, and that's what I did in 2017. So I got a SHIP grant to start up SNAP EBT and to order some supplies for a farmer's market, and we did pretty good. We started in June and we ended way too late in October. We could have ended in September, early September, but I didn't sell any vegetables. I just organized the market. I was kind of the people person. And that was fine with me. And interestingly, is one of the things I'm still a little bit baffled about is that my outside work of volunteering and organizing provided a lot of options for me in my job, in the sense that I had a lot of opportunities to join. It's called the Healthy Eating Group, Healthy Eating Coalition of Steele County. So we meet on a monthly basis and we talk about how we can provide greater access to good nutritious food that people can afford. Okay, so that's the key, is how can people afford it? And so through that organization, we decided that we would start another farmers market in Otana. And so a different one. And so this was not a Saturday market. The Saturday market had turned into more of like a flea market, lots of crafts, very little food. And so we started the North Market, which is on the north side of town. Again, not a whole lot of creativity with the name. And so we started that last summer in 2018. We started the market, it was only 10 weeks. We said, let's try this, let's see what the sort of response is from the community. And the wonderful thing is the community that we're at has every single income you could possibly imagine. We have public housing to doctors, okay, and to CEOs of companies. So you've got every single demographic, you've got every single income range that's there. And so we offered SNAP and EBT and some market bucks there, and that went really well. And so now this year we're offering Pop Club, and we've got a lot of activities and things like that. So that's kind of my background. But in the meantime, this didn't allow for a whole lot of time to sell vegetables. And so one of the things that we're doing that's really kind of my passion is that I've developed a farmers market committee so we can share the work, and I can take some of that work off my plate and make it a little bit more reasonable as far as managing. So this is part of it. So I added some fun pictures because I'm a very visual person. We have 10.5 acres. That includes our home. It includes a big shed that we have. And so right now I'm only gardening on a half of an acre. There's the potential for 2 acres. So this is our plot, this is our driveway, this is the other. So there's like 2 acres here, and then across the driveway there's another 2 acres. The driveway's like a third of a mile long. And so, I like soil blockers, that's what that is. And so, the plots that I have down by the driveway, the big one is 528 feet by 37 feet. So it's very long and it's not incredibly wide. And then the plots next to the house, one is 50 by 50 and the other one is 63 by 24. So, and we may just seed over one of those because it's a lot of, we may not need it all because I have the opportunity to expand down the driveway. Okay. So I also, in 2017, I started a farm stand at the end of my driveway. So at the end, all the way down this road, there's a very busy road where people drive back and forth to their cabins on the weekends. And it was honor system. And so I found that we were really busy on Fridays and on Sundays and on Mondays. And the first year I made about $500. I was open for about 6 weeks. I thought that was kind of neat. And in 2018, I started it again and I had a whole bunch of theft, which was really disappointing. Like I had one day, I had probably, I think they're like quart-sized containers of tomatoes, and I probably had like 8 of them out there, and I had a big flat that had a whole bunch of tomatoes in it. It's all gone. Somebody took every last tomato that I had, including the container. And then I was like, oh, that really stinks. And then I had these really wonderful watermelons that I threw down there, or put down there, not threw. And I lost 11 of them. Somebody stole literally 11 watermelons in one day. So it's probably one person. So then I got really mad, and that was the end of the farm stand for the year. We were done. So I have a new plan for 2019 with the farm stand because I really like it, and I have a picture in here of it. And so the plan is that we're gonna move it down towards me, and there's gonna be there'll be a sign at the end of the road that says farm stand is open on specific days, probably the days that we were the most busy, because that would make sense as far as travelers. And then nobody will be stealing my food. Okay. So, this is literally what my living room looks like right now. This is my spot where I start my seeds. It works really well. Production is, I kind of balked at this number. I have planned for this year 30 varieties of vegetables and herbs. I think that's a lot. I may have to scale back a little bit. I didn't realize it was that much. I'd like to improve on my succession gardening. So those are some examples of what I've got planned so far for this year. Like 3 plantings of beans, 3 plantings of radishes, 2 plantings of peas. Big lofty goals, we'll see how that goes, okay? I'd like to start growing my tomatoes in a caterpillar tunnel to see if that works better. I don't have any experience with that, so I've been reading up on it a lot. I plan on using a lot more row cover this year for season extension. I started to use it a little bit last year at the end of the season, and I was able to hang on to my peppers a lot longer, and I had some lettuces and things like that I hung on to a lot longer. And so I'm going to do more of that this year. Also helping with the pest prevention. I realized that I have some lofty goals, so I need to start using maybe more plastic and things like that as far as for weed suppression. And so that's my plan as of right now. So my beds, the way they're set up in that big lot is I put them 50 feet by 42. That's kind of a system that I started last year, and it works really well for me. Like, I like that. I like the organization. Everything's 50 feet and that's it. I can have more than one bed, but I like that they're 50 feet, and then the 18 inches is for the row. It makes it easy for me to work in. And then so I have what I use to help with bed preparation is I have an earthquake tiller. I have a variety of hand tools. I have an earthway seeder. That's great when it works. Sometimes it doesn't work all that great. And then I have a retired father and father-in-law. And my father-in-law, he's so awesome. He goes to every single farmer's market with me. And I think he knows everybody, so it's really helpful. He's like my new people person there. So it's great. And he's a really big gardener too. And his garden used to be like, my husband describes it as like 3 telephone poles long. And this is when they were a lot younger. So this is my farm stand. So this was the first year. I made it really pretty. I had some flowers up there and stuff like that. I mean, we're gonna try to make some things different. We're gonna take down those signs this year. We don't need those. We're gonna put a canopy on there to prevent, so that the vegetables don't get so hot. So, and then I was watching a YouTube video that gave me some ideas, and I drew out a little thing, and so my husband's gonna do that for me. So, and it's got wheels on it. It's got really nice wheels on it. So I can hook it up to the 4-wheeler, and we can take it back and forth really easily. So it's great. And it's cute. So, okay, so I plan on selling my produce at 2, maybe 3 markets. I think 2 for sure. 1, Tuesday at the North Market. That's where I utilize. I still have to be the person at the information booth. I still have to run pot club. I still have to do the SNAP EBT, which is fine. But I have my father-in-law there again. So that's helpful. I think I'm gonna try to do a Saturday market in Faribault. I think I'm gonna do that, and maybe I might try to find a Sunday market. Now we did just commit to the Medford Outlet Center. We're rethinking the Medford market. We have some problems. I think we're gonna change the location, and we're gonna do just a 6-week market, and we're gonna call it good. Out at the Outlet Center, we're gonna catch the back to school crowd. So I'll be participating in that too. I'm hoping to have about $5,000 in sales. I'm basing that off of, so the vegetables that I did grow over the last couple of years, I didn't sell them at markets, but I did process a lot of those through the cottage foods lot. And so I had a lot of like pickled beets, and I had, what else did I make? Pickled carrots, things like that. And so I sold those at the Winter Farmers Market in Faribault. It's an indoor market. And that was about 6 weeks of markets, and I made roughly about $150 in about 3 hours for a 3-hour market. So I was like, okay, I know that I can sell it if I make an effort to sell it. So it's about prioritizing some of those other distracting things. So my goal is that if I do 2 markets, hopefully I'll do about $300 a week, $4,500. It's just kind of a goal. And then the farm stand, I actually think I might try to take that into the town of Medford for 1 or 2 days out of the week. There is a meat market that is in this tiny little town, and it is so busy. And there's an area that's next to it that I could set up next to the meat market and kind of catch that traffic with my cute done up farm stand. And then I'll have the farm stand at my house. And I'm thinking maybe between all of that, the farm stand, I can make about $150 a week. I'm hoping. I also, personal goal of myself is I want to obtain a food license and get access to a commercial kitchen in the area so that I can make some basil pesto and sun-dried tomato pesto. I made that the first year with the basil that I grew and the garlic that I grew and the tomatoes and things like that. And I still have people that call me today for it. And those are like 2 of my favorite foods. Okay. So, there's the squash pickles. Those are really good. Those are a huge hit. I sell tons of those. And so my marketing goals, I do have a website. It's unpublished right now because it needs a lot of updating. It's called calfgardens.com. My sort of slogan is growing good food for a good life. Okay. And so I also use social media a lot for communication, not just with the farmers markets, but also with the things that I'm doing. And so I started a Facebook group last year just to kind of communicate with some people who are really interested in getting some vegetables from me. And it's called the Calf Gardens Farm Stand. And so my plan to sell this year is every Friday or Thursday night, I want to make a post on that group, or maybe just in all of Facebook, is what I have available coming for the next week, and then allow people the opportunity to place an order. and then arrange for them to either pick it up at the farm or the market. And then because I spent a lot of time in college planning menus, it's pretty easy for me. And so literally people love for you to tell them what should they eat and when should they eat it. And so that's part of sort of the group is having access to that. Another thing that I wanted to try to do to see if it would be a hit is putting together things like fajita bags, roasted root vegetable bags, where you can pair certain things together so then you can, and here's your recipe and, you know, it's $5. So, okay, so management goals. I need to create some systems in order to make sure that I can increase efficiency by creating systems for completing my tasks. That's the biggest thing. I have a lot of different things that I do. I only work part-time, but I also have the markets and then I have the gardening. And so creating weekly to-do lists. I love the egg squared. I think that that's going to come in really, really helpful as far as the planting and harvesting schedule. Seed starting, like I have a system for seed starting that I really like right now. I love using soil blocks. I have a little bit more time in my day right now that I can take the time to use those soil blocks and put that together. I have like those movable racks in my house, I've had no problems with starting my seeds there, and then I have a greenhouse that I can move them to when it starts to warm up. It's an unheated one. I have these school cafeteria trays that I put my soil blocks on also that work really well. I can put a whole bunch of them on this school cafeteria tray. Literally, I move the racks to the kitchen and I water and I move them back. And I do that after all the kids go to bed. So at 9 o'clock at night, if you wonder what I'm doing, I'm watering every other day. And then I will then pot that up and then put them in the greenhouse when that's available. I need to create a system for harvesting and packaging. So creating a washing station, a drying station, and a packing. That's a big priority of mine. And then coming up with refrigeration. That's a bit of an obstacle right now because we have literally all of the stuff. Coincidentally, we have all of this stuff to create like a walk-in cooler, like that was left at our house. It's very odd. We have these wonderful insulated, big, huge panels that literally they were left at our house, and we just have to frame it and put it up, and then get like a cool bot and a air conditioner, and we're good to go. Convincing my husband to do it is another thing. So I think the other obstacle is maybe transportation with the markets. I need to figure out a different system if I'm going to be bringing more vegetables to the market. I probably shouldn't be using my car to do that. And then I need to create a watering system. So the problem with this area is that there's no water. So down here is where my other two plots are, and I have plenty of water down there. So we need to figure out something of how can we water that. This is what I was using out of absolute desperation. My husband came home with it one day and said, here, try this, with a hose. It worked, it just took forever to do. And so I think one of the things we're gonna try to do this weekend is figuring out what to do. So my father-in-law and my dad are really motivated to figure that out also. So, okay, so obstacles. Needless to say, I have 3 of them. They're not obstacles, they're wonderful, but they're busy, right? So that's Lily, Audrey, Ian, and there's our lovely dog, Rosie. So it's balancing, right? So I have to be present, I want to do this, I have other responsibilities. Okay, so I put these goals together, I'll work my hardest, but sometimes you just kind of have to stop and you can't do it. Okay, you have to sort of sacrifice some things. She's great, but she does like to run through the broccoli. She did that a few times last year, so wrangling Rosie up. Like I said, I do work part-time. I have the easiest schedule in the world. I go in at 8:30 and I'm done at 1:30. Super easy. And I don't have a really stressful job most of the time. But the bigger tasks, okay, so they often require the help of my husband, who is super, super busy. He is a foreman for a wash plant and he works like 70 hours a week. So literally from this week to probably November, we're not gonna see him a whole lot. And so I have to find really creative ways to get some things done. So like right now, my tiller doesn't work. And the tiller is getting fixed on his schedule and not mine. So, and sometimes I have to find other unique ways to get that done. And so, and like I said, the water at the driveways, and I'm still going to have to figure out. So that's what I got. Should I just close this?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have questions?
All right.
What's a POP? P-O-P?
Oh, the Pop Club. That's the Power of Produce where the kids get the $2 token. So they come and they sign up and they get a $2 token to spend on fruits and vegetables.
You said you had water in some of your areas, right?
Yeah.
How far is it from where you're having challenge?
Well,
There's like solar.
Yeah.
There's like solar pumps that you can
Yeah.
use, and I don't know, they're not too expensive.
yeah, I think that's one of the ways that we're going to try to go. So we have 2 spouts across that are in, one's next to our chicken coop that we have, the other one's next to the shed. And so yes, trying different water pumps to see if we can have some success with that.
Depending on how high, I guess, the elevation.
Yeah, it is uphill. It's not huge uphill, but I think we just have to come up with a few different ways and just try them and see what works the best. So, yeah. Oh. Oh. Oh.
All right, so share plot? All right. Does that look right? Does that look right, or does the PowerPoint?
There you go.
Oh, can I make it?
Some more?
What if I can make it? Open it in Adobe? Yes.
How did you make that?
So just a template.
I think it's a PDF. It is. Oops, sorry.
We have a graphic design expert on our team.
His name is Apple. Oh, it's better, right? Yeah. So then you can just scroll down. Yeah. Excuse me.
Hello everyone, my name is Mahad. This is the rest of the Share Plot team here. We got Alberto, Jose, Jesse, Kate, and then Dan. There you go, I got the names right. So they'll walk you through the rest of the program. We'll go through the finance, the marketing, the production plan, and sort of the management of the Share Plot. How we're gonna sort of allocate our times to kind of handle things. We're expecting, hopefully, we won't run too much into challenges, but it's a learning process. Yeah, that's part of the deal. So who's first? Finance?
Sure.
Finance. I can go through this.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so finance, the basics of it is, how will we make profits? What income will we generate, and what expenses will we have as we go through this process? Marketing, where we will sell. Have we figured out where we'll go with the product that we produce? I think that will cover that as well. Production, what will we produce and how will we produce it? We'll talk through that as well. Management, like I said, we're gonna kind of figure out how to balance our time and working the farm. Take it away.
Okay. So we'll talk about finances for a minute. And for now, just ignore all that. This is the important stuff right here. So we estimate our income based on, these are the contracted crops, cauliflower and leek. Those will go to the CSA. And then these are estimations that Laura helped us with.
If they can see.
Yeah, can you guys see those numbers? 2,500 estimated at farmers markets, 1,500 at other markets, and that might include restaurants, which we'll talk about later. And then we added a line here, which is the value of the education that we're receiving, because that. Pardon? Because it's invaluable.
Probably like infinite.
No, it's of course a great value, but how do you put a number on that? We just wanted to recognize that is something that we're receiving too. So in terms of expenses, we did 3,500, which is the program fee times 7, which probably should have been times 6 because we're a team. But so that's a cost that's definite for sure. And then because I don't know, in part of the classes, it was advised that we have a clearer picture of what the true cost is, right, of farming. And I personally think that as we all move forward year after year, knowing these figures helps us make decisions that will sort of make it easier to be successful in the future. So I wanted to put a cost on transportation, and so I estimated the mileage that we will all do as a team, and then I looked up a figure for what the government reimburses per mile. I don't know if that's appropriate for this case, but it's 58 cents a mile. And so that's an estimate of a transportation cost. And that would include gas, depreciation of vehicles.
And insurance, I think.
Insurance, maintenance of vehicles. So there's a lot included in that. Alternatively, if we wanted to say, oh, that's too high, we don't want that, we could estimate the gas at $1,500. But this is good to know because there's a lot of us, and if we said that's a high cost, we want to cut back, let's try to carpool. We could easily cut it way, way down. So, and then I wanted to add the cost of our labor, which was totally estimated using Minnesota's minimum wage, $22,000 for the year. So that's, yeah, never mind. But we do have our total estimated income higher than the program cost, which is the most obvious cost. And we'd be losing a little bit if we added in the gas. But again, that's what we're here for, to learn. And yeah, I just feel like a clear picture helps us moving forward.
Slide or no, it's not a PowerPoint.
Yeah. What do I have to do to
Scroll
make
down
it
there,
bigger?
maybe on the
Is it
right
just the
side.
arrow down?
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Ok, yo voy a hablar acerca de algunas verduras que quieren algunos restaurantes.
I want to talk about some vegetables that have been requested by some restaurants.
Que es tomatillo, jalapeño,
They have asked for tomatillo, jalapeño,
cilantro. Tenemos dos restaurantes que nos quieren comprar.
We have already talked to 2 restaurants who want to buy.
Y hay por ahí tengo algunos contactos con algunas organizaciones que
And I have also some contact with some organizations.
y ya tenemos algunos productos que ya están apartados.
And we basically have some products that have been reserved.
Y es todo.
And that's all I have.
A ver, ¿quieres mencionar estos que son para el CSA?
Y tenemos los productos para CSA.
These are the products that we have programmed for CSA.
Ya es todo.
So a couple other parts of our marketing, we want to sell some of this produce as well at Kingfield Farmers Market and perhaps the Stillwater Farm Stand, depending on what you guys think about that.
Con respecto a la producción de los cultivos, ¿cómo lo vamos a realizar? Junto con Big Farmer.
Regarding the production, how we're going to carry that out and in collaboration with Big River Farm.
Con una parcela, tenemos una parcela compuesta de 150 pies por 96 pies de largo.
We have a lot that is measured 150?
150, yes.
150 feet for how wide?
6.
Para realizar
96 feet?
96, yes.
96 feet.
Para realizar este sistema de producción, que es un sistema de cultivos asociados en franjas.
We have figured out this system.
En franjas asociados, cultivos.
Just by marking the different beds with the different crops. You said asociados? Associated?
Franjas, yes.
Or combined, right? Combine the different planting beds.
Tomamos en cuenta la demanda de mercado.
And this is based on the demand from the market demand.
Tomamos en cuenta la fecha de plantación, la fecha de siembra y fecha de cosecha.
And we have a scheduled planting date and the
fecha.
And the harvesting date.
De cosecha. Fecha de cosecha.
Yes. The harvesting date.
Y lo que con el grupo tomamos la decisión de sembrar cubage, una cama, cilantro, un cuarto, una cama pero dividida en una mitad.
We decided to plant some of the crops in the whole bed, one crop, and some are combined, like half of it with cilantro, half of it with the other ones like green onion or celery.
Igual chiles jalapeños, una cama.
We have one bed for jalapeno.
Tomatillo, una cama.
One for tomatillo.
Cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
4 camas en una primera etapa y 2 camas en una segunda etapa.
And we have planned to have 4 beds for cauliflower in one stage, and then 2 beds in the second stage.
Y este es nuestro plan de producción de siempre.
So this is our production plan.
All right, so we were talking about who is going to do what on the farm, and because we're all beginners, we all want to do everything. We all want to learn how to seed, we all want to learn how to weed, we all want to learn how to harvest. So aside from those things that we all want to learn, we talked about how we're going to communicate with each other. And we thought that group text would be a good way to keep in touch on who's where or who's going to be there or not. We talked about putting together a team calendar because we know about some important dates when we'll need to seed or when we'll need to harvest, so that we can make sure that at least one of us can be there. And then we also had a goal of tracking our time and what we're up to, what we're spending our time doing on the farm for record keeping purposes. I think that's it. Do you have questions?
Well,
That's very beautiful.
next is just
Well, that's
the
just for our-
schedule.
Those are just our documents. Yeah.
Shaw and Jeremy, I think the last two.
Yeah. So, I kind of did mine a little bit differently since I was working with Farrell. I kind of set up my dream farm. So for the ultimately, I would like to own between 20 and 50 acres. I also know financially that'll be my biggest expense. So that'll likely be anywhere from $200,000 to $400,000 depending on where you're at from research I've done. Once I have the land and a house, then I need to purchase farming equipment. That's never cheap, but I'm very mechanically oriented, so I'm not against buying older equipment that I can fix and repair myself. I would like to have both vegetables, small grains, and mixture of livestock, so that I can do a rotation of my crops. Surprising how well Mother Nature provides, just with manure, cover cropping. I've been doing a lot of reading on that. It's really, I think if older farmers could just get out of that mindset of tillage, there could be a lot of opportunity out there. For livestock, I would like to have chickens, possibly a handful of cows. I would have to do the research, see if cows would be more profitable than goats or sheep. So I would do research before I would purchase any livestock. I would start at a very small scale, and if it was successful, then I would expand it from there. Like many other farmers in here, start at a smaller scale and increment up rather than jump in. You don't want to drown. Yeah, I would ultimately like to settle in the northern tier states. I'm pretty happy in Minnesota. That's where my family now is settled. That's kind of my dream, what I'd like to do. Also, I've noticed everyone here, and even some of the presenters that we've had, have started with nothing. So it's very encouraging to see presenters and fellow farmers that started with nothing and are successful. So it's extremely encouraging knowing that I have 100% opportunity and can very likely be 100% successful, but you have to pursue your dreams and know where priorities are. Any questions?
Then you can do that. Slideshow. Cool.
Mine is very simple. I make it simple and easy to understand. And for my, my husband and I also have a long-term goal, but this I only focus for the 1 year goal, which is for 2019. And I put a big farm on there because my is not official yet, so I don't use mine. Is it down or?
I think you can go to the right. There you go.
Okay. So the market that I have for right now is Brooklyn Park, West Side, and then BRF is Big River Farm. And TGA is Good Acre. So 2019, I have a couple of CSA for these two organizations. For management, both Masman and I are in charge. So he's in charge more on the field, and we both are equal, but he does more the heavy on the farm, and I fully in charge on record keeping. But the planning and everything, he is the one that do more. And these are the planning, record keeping, seeding, fill, harvest, sell. So we both in charge of all of this together throughout the whole season. If we're at the farm, we have our children help. So they're our big extra help. And here is the crops that we are growing this year. Cucumber, zucchini, tomatoes, onion, and CSA crops, and some Asian crops. So I put Asian because those are more for Asian people that they buy in African American people. And here's a picture of the plot that we have at the Big River Farm. So field art, and U I put cover crop because this year going to be cover crop, and S would be all onion, and half of the U plot would be tomato, and V would be all cucumber and zucchini split, because my husband gonna do half cucumber and half slide. So he's gonna use zucchini to be in the middle so they won't mix. And then the H1 and H2, we're gonna put the CSA crop and the Asian crops over there. So, and this is the finance that we come up with. And I just taking the whole amount that Laura gave to me. I just break them down as showing in the invoice, and I'm just adding the other that beside those in there. So I see you spend like 2,500 and 3,000 around that number. And plastic would be 3,400, and then farmer market would be 3,100. And then the total would be 16 for this season, officially spent. But gonna be a little bit more depending on what we have later on. And the profit that I noticed after Erid and N have given to me, like estimate what we're gonna get from the CSA will be 2,450 and 3,400. And the farmer market, I leave in plain because we don't know yet.
So what's your projections for the farm market? Can you ask a projection number?
Our goal shooting is 50 to 60 between that number. Because we always, Mazu and I, we're expecting more, because we know that we're not gonna get that, but it's more like give us an idea and we motivate it and work for it. So we like to plan more than what we're gonna get.
So can I ask you about your are you also including like renting space in a cooler somewhere? Or
No. Only the farmer market fee.
for a free farmer's market?
Two.
2.
West side in Plug and Park.
Expensive fees then, huh?
Yeah. But the Plug and Park we have. This year we have 5 spots over there. Yes. Plug and Park is our priority, one that we make profit out of it, but we have more spot over there. Oh, Asian crops would be like chili pepper and chili pepper, bitter melon, some, what's it called? Gourd? G-O-U-R-D? Gourd? Oh, yeah. So those are Caucasian people, they don't eat it. So it's only Asia. So that's what I get at least to be in general. That's it.
What, if you don't mind, can I ask that, what is the cost for the farmer market with stock for one?
Their share $5.90. Yeah. 5.90 for stock. 590 for one spot. Yeah, for the season. I went to the well in Minneapolis my first year. Over 7,000 a spot. No. Yeah. Do you remember the downtown Minneapolis one? That there's some on the north, some on the south, the round south. It's over 7,000. It's under 8,000 a spot. So I went half the season, I paid 4,000 something for a spot.
How many days can you market per week?
Oh, how many days? For my broken part 1, 3 days. 3 full days. Like morning until dark, whenever you want to leave. So they don't have a time like 8 to 4. You can be there in the morning until 6, 7. It's up to you. But it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days. But the one on the west side is only 8:30 to 12:30, right, Baku? Yeah. So Baku and I are over there for the west side.
What days are Brooklyn Park?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Where's your, okay, she asked a question. Where's your question?
Well, I was thinking like if your market fees are that high, if one's $5.90 and you're getting 5 spots, you must profit a decent amount.
She said 50 to 60,000. What?
No, I say our goal is shoot for that number.
Did you sell it last year?
Yeah. That's our first market that we got when we first started.
She said 50. You said 50, 15,000 or 15?
For your profit at the farmer's market.
15 or 15?
You mean, what is my goal?
What's your goal?
What is my goal? Our goal is we shoot for 50 and 60 between that number.
Oh, I tried 15.
No, not 50.
No, wait, show up. So everyone's confused. Everyone's confused between saying 50 or 15.
50,000. 15, I'm not gonna farm it.
What area do you, what total area of farm do you own? The land?
How big is the land?
How big is the land?
Oh, I think it's 6 acres.
You have 6.75 vegetables and 2 of cover crop.
Yeah. So the R and U are 2 acres. So R is 1, U is 1, so 2 acre cover crop. So all of this total is 6 acre.
All of it total is 8.75.
Yeah. No. I mean, don't count the cover crop.
Yeah.
So it'll be 6.
6.75.
Yeah.
Good job.
Any other questions? Otherwise, give her a hand. Great job, everybody. Before we go, did everyone put up the resources that they wanted to on our resource sheet? Not yet? Do you want to last minute do that if you haven't yet? And then I was just hoping people could like read through really quick what they put up there. So if you haven't yet, come up and put your suggestions down of organizations that work for farmers. And then yeah, me. Do you want to have people come to the greenhouse on Saturday? Every Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah. So
If not, then you can feel comfortable. To come anytime after work, who want to come, just come, okay? But Saturday. For sure. For growing season in the greenhouse.
So usually the skill sessions in the greenhouse are not really like super planned out, and it's kind of just like whatever needs to happen in the greenhouse that day. So I don't know, what do you think you're going to be doing in the greenhouse on Saturday? Any idea?
If right now, next week probably not much, but the following week we're going to you need to look at the greenhouse plan. You need to go by that table.
Do you want people to come anyway, even if they don't have to do anything?
Check.
So you can
Check this out.
check it, learn how to water. You can do things in the greenhouse with May. But it can also be one-on-one appointments, right?
Yeah.
So I think if you're not going to come on Saturdays, May will always be there 10 to noon on Saturdays, and she'll teach something, and it's kind of to be determined what is going to happen that day. But then you can correct me if I'm wrong. But then if you're not going to come on Saturday, if you want to come a different day, we would encourage you to come because things change a lot even in 1 week. So make an appointment with May.
Call me if anybody working and they're not coming. On which day you want to come, they just call me and come different times. So, if I know that anybody's working.
Yeah. But you would like everyone to come every Saturday from 10 to noon.
I make two farm-related announcements. I totally forgot. No, okay. So for the shared plots, I put your seeds on the bookshelf in the office, and they're labeled like first year shared plot or second year shared plot. And I would like you to go through them and make sure you have everything you need. And if you don't, let me know. And the second announcement is that some of the soil has come, and for people who ordered big bags, I'm going to spray paint your names on them, and you can get the soil out of those bags. They're down by the greenhouse, but they're not that close, and I won't be able to get them any closer until it gets drier. So I'm sorry that you still have to use soil. And for the shared plots, I also ordered a bag for the farm for the shared plots. So you will be getting your soil from it's like a giant bag, it's like this thick full of soil. So that will be labeled like BRF, and that's the one that the shared plots will use for your soil.
They give
2,000 pounds.
you need to have a big house.
can't see them. Those are beets.
In the shop, I bought new flats.
Do you want me to eject
Trying to
it?
be really good for the season.
Okay,
So there, if you like walk into the shop, there's the big table to the left, there's like plastic over there. And I got open flats 50, 72.
All right, so really quick, let's just run down the list. So if you wrote let's just go in order. So the first one, who wrote down the Good Acre? Can you say about the Good Acre and what services they provide?
Yeah, so the people who were here on the tour, we met Zach, and he took us around, and it seems like there's a ton of resources in this building for farmers. And he walked us through the storage, farmers can rent storage space here, farmers can rent cooler space here, farmers can get trucking services here, they can help out with that. And the facility in the back is just incredible, so if you haven't seen it, take a look, there's a lot there.
Cool. And then who wrote Minnesota Farmers Market Association?
I did.
What did they do about?
So at the conference, met Kathy Seaman, and then they just provide a lot of resources to vendors, so which are usually farmers. So as far as whether it's insurance or just opportunities for education, things like that.
And then Long American Partnership?
They do have small grants for microloan, 500 to 40,000. They do have two separate grants, one's for farmer, for immigrant, but other is for in general as well. Contact me, I will direct you to my show, and if you want to loan someone, it's like
And the Land Institute, it's out of Salina, Kansas. They do a lot of research lately on perennial wheat, and they're also in the process of developing a perennial sunflower also. They do a lot of plant breeding, a lot of it's soil conservation. Perennial wheat can keep a good harvest for up to 5 years. So it really reduces the tillage that you have to do in soils.
Government extension?
I put an athletes up there because it's my mentor. If you guys are gonna be doing farming for a while and later on, if you guys wanna get into some for wholesale, she's a girl, she's a lady to learn food safety and FSMA and all that stuff that's gonna be regulating how you are gonna be selling to the wholesale.
And SCORE? USDA SCORE?
Oh yeah, I heard that down. So it's just a cool free deal. I met with a guy, Joe, and he's a mentor. He's been farming for a long time and worked with USDA for a really long time. Now he's retired, so it's a free program. Just you fill out a deal online, and then they match you up with someone that matches what kind of thing that you're looking for. So we talked about business plan, you like sanctify that, and some other things that I was like, oh, I want to learn more about this, or is this idea that I have, is that feasible? It's really helpful.
And then SFA is Henderson Farm?
Yeah, I wrote that. Josh gave half of the presentation for the Sustainable Farmers a couple weeks ago. I got to him afterwards to learn a little bit more about how he's running his farm, and in particular with soil health, and I really want to learn how to make start. So I think he's going to be really willing to help.
Cool.
Another thing I thought of just now I didn't write was the Seed Savers Exchange. I went to their conference, and they have a catalog too of organic and heirloom seeds that you can order from.
And we've been in touch with them about their farmer apprenticeship and just practical tips about how they farm. And they have a winter CSA, which we take advantage of and love. And that's just a really different model too, and a unique market. So if anyone's interested in knowing more about that, it kind of reminded me of Emily's winter storage crop plan. And they do value-added products. They have a commercial kitchen. So in the CSA, they provide, there's canned pickling things, like you mentioned, pesto that's frozen peppers and tomatoes and zucchini that we had in our soup today. It's a great creative model of using the crops they grow all summer to then be either stored or made into value-added products and distributed. Another model and resource.
Great. So I'll type this up and I'll put it on the Google Drive so everyone can have these resources, and then you can add to it as the year goes on. So hopefully it will be helpful for everyone. And yeah, great job tonight, everyone. I think we should do one more round of applause for everyone. Take another drop of blood before you leave if you want to, and then we will see you. Nate will be at the greenhouse on Saturday at 10 o'clock. Is that right? And then no class Monday, but we'll see you next Wednesday. We're having our last classroom session on organic certification. So.